Report.
Okay, let's take a look at this last page. On the last page, just looking at it, right from the outset, I see that I have 3 triangles and none of them are right triangles. And don't be fooled by this one. This one, people are going to look at this and say, oh, but that looks like a right angle. Remember, you can't judge unless it's specified. So if it says that it's a right angle, you can know it's a right angle. But if it doesn't, you can't assume. And really, if you were to add these together, the 26 and 57, and subtract from 180, you would find that it is not a 90-degree angle. So if we're not dealing with right triangles, we're looking at using law of sines or law of cosines. Remember, law of sines is probably a little bit easier to work with, so I would try for that first. But for law of sines to be able to work, you have to have a complete pair of information. So in number 17, I have the 26 degrees across from the x, and I have 57 across from a side that I don't know, and I have 16 across from an angle that I don't know. So right now it looks like I would not be able to use law of sines. But if you look again, the 16 being across from this angle, I do have a way that I could figure out what that angle is equal to. So let's start with that. I'm going to start by taking 180 and subtracting the 57 and the 26. Okay? And I end up with 97 degrees. Okay, so that tells me that this angle is 97. Okay, and that's across from the 16. So that will allow me to set up a law of sines. So here's what that'll look like. I will have sine. Okay, I will have sine of 97 over the 16, because the 97 degree angle is across from the side length 16, equals sine of 26 over x, because the 26 degree angle is across from the x, which is what I'm trying to find. Now to type this into a calculator, I want to cross multiply and divide. So I'm going to multiply 16 times sine of 26 and divide by sine of 97. And when I do that, I end up with 6.4. Now some of you, though, then question, well, what is that? Is that my answer? Do I have to square root it? Do I have to do the inverse sine of it? What do I have to do? Think about what that equals. When I cross multiplied and divided, that gives you your answer for x. So 6.4 is just equal to x. And if it's just equal to x, that means that that's your answer. So your answer for number 17 should be 6.4. Okay, let's look at 18. So again, find x to the nearest tenth. So I want to look for my pairs. I have the x across from the 23, but I don't have angles to go with either one of these sides. And this one is not one where I can find those other angles because I only have one angle to work with, and I don't even know what that one is. So I can't do 180 minus anything. So this is where I'm going to have to use law of cosines. Okay? With law of cosines, the trick is to always put the A next to whatever it is you're looking for. So if that's angle A, that's going to make this side A over here. Okay? And my formula for this is A squared. We did one of these earlier, but just so you have the formula again, equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine of A. Now I know my side A, so I'm going to fill in the 23 here, equals 11 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 11 times 16 times the cosine, and angle A is still my variable. Okay, and this is the one where you're going to have to do this in kind of pieces. So I'm going to do the 23 squared, I'm going to do the 11 squared plus the 16 squared, and I'm going to do the 2 times 11 times 16 all separately. Okay, 23 squared, I end up with 529. 11 squared plus 16 squared. I end up with 377. And 2 times 11 times 16, I end up with 352. Okay, now I'm going to solve this like an equation. So to get rid of that 377, I'm going to subtract 377. Okay, 29 minus 377 leaves me with 152. I know I'm writing on that next problem. I'll move it in a minute. And that's going to equal negative 352 times the cosine of A. Okay. Then to get rid of that negative 352, I'll divide. Okay, so I get 152 divided by negative 352, and you get negative negative 0.4318 equals the cosine of A. And if you're not sure what to do with that decimal, hopefully you know that's not really your answer, but look at what it equals. Negative 0.4318 equals the cosine of A. And what I'm looking for is the value of A. Okay, if I know cosine of A is equal to that, I can find my value of A by doing the inverse. Anytime you're looking for the angle, it's an inverse problem. So I'm going to do second cosine of that. And it looks like I end up with about 128 degrees if I round to the nearest whole number, which with degrees, that's acceptable. Oh, I'm sorry. The directions say nearest tenth. So just kidding, 128.4. Okay, that would be number 18. Okay, let me clear some of this out for 19. Last one, let's look at 19. We're finding x, the nearest tenth. So I see that I have x across from 60, but I don't have angles to go with either one of these sides. So this is again going to be a law of cosines problem. The formula again is, sorry that's kind of crammed in there, but a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a. And I'm going to put the a next to my variable. So this is side A this time, which makes the angle across from it angle A. This is one of the easier ones, though, as far as law of cosines goes, because this time I'm looking for the little a, so I'm going to leave that as a squared. My b and my c would be the 4 and the 6, minus 2 times 4 times 6 times cosine of 60. That says 60 over there. Sorry about that. And then I can take all of this and type it straight into a calculator. So I'm going to type in 4 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 4 times 6 times cosine of 60. And I end up with 23.7. And remember, that's equal to a squared. I would actually take a few more decimals on that because we're not done with our problem yet. So I would maybe go 786. And then since that's a squared, to get rid of the square, we will have to square root. Oops. 3.786. And I end up with about, again, it wants the nearest tenth, so I would say 4.9. So my answer up here would be 4.9. Okay. Hopefully that is enough to help you out for tonight. If you do have any other questions, you're welcome to email me tonight, or we can chat in class tomorrow. And I will be at school early tomorrow morning if you need some extra help. Good luck.